A couple weeks ago, I made a video about my most anticipated film of the year called The Mean One, also known as the Grinch horror movie that's not allowed to be called the Grinch horror movie for copyright reasons, and it just came out a couple days ago and I finally got the chance to sit down and see it, and oh boy, do I feel like Christmas came early this year. I feel like I've been blessed by all the gods above. This movie should not be made for human consumption. It's too good for us mere mortals. But as Trainwrecks would say, don't get it twisted. The movie isn't good, it's so bad that it's good. And I'm gonna try to keep this review as spoiler free as possible, although I could give you every single plot point and tell you the story from start to finish, and you still would go into it and have a completely third eye opening experience. It doesn't matter if I spoil it for you, the movie is still gonna slap your titties off, no matter if you know what's going on going into it or not. I'm gonna try my best to not meat rod this movie and just give it to you straight, splash you with the cold water, hold nothing back. And the movie sucks. It's your typical B horror movie. It's got goofy characters, NPC acting that just feels super stale. About as stale as like the bread they give you during middle school lunch. And when the actors are conversing, it feels almost like aliens trying to replicate human conversation. It just doesn't feel right. It feels awkward. And the CGI is so bad. I'm mainly talking about the blood effects. It's like they gave this movie to a chimpanzee and threw a laptop at him and said, hey, add some blood effects to this movie. So he went on YouTube, searched blood effects green screen, and just dragged it on top of the footage. It looks horrible. Just don't expect to have a coherent movie. You're not going to understand what's going on. It feels like this movie was put together with some bubblegum and cardboard. It's just, it's not something you can look at from a critical standpoint. Just go into it, shut off your brain, pre-game it with like some cocoa melon to give you some brain rot so you won't be thinking during it, and then you'll be good. You'll enjoy the movie. If I'm being honest with you as well as myself, the only reason I liked this movie was because of David Howard Thornton's performance as the Mean One, aka the Grinch. If you don't know who that is, he plays Art the Clown in Terrifiers 1 and 2. The dude is an amazing monster actor. He's just an amazing actor in general, really. He put the entire movie, the entire production on his shoulders like he was Atlas, and he carried them to having an acceptable movie. But if you were Professor Utonium and you combined all those things I just talked about into a little pot and swirled it up, it results in a bit of silly fun, and that's what this movie is, just a goofy time that you can watch and laugh at. And I think that's definitely what they were going for. They weren't trying to make a Grammy award-winning movie here. They knew what they were. They knew it was going to be bad, and they played into it super heavily. One thing I do appreciate about this movie is how many times they blue ball the copyright people, whoever owned the Grinch. I know they were being edged so hard on the edge of their seat waiting for him to slip up so they could sue him for everything they own. The clothes off their back, the toys their children play with, just everything. Because the amount of times they attempt to say the Grinch and then cut it off with a loud noise or someone saying a word that rhymes with Grinch is actually funny. I laughed out loud every single time it happened. For example, I showed it in the trailer, the old man saying he's a mean one, that Mr. He goes to say the Grinch and then he gets cut off. It shows you what he gets cut off by in the movie, and it's the bartender screaming, Mr. Finch! Finch! Is there a Mr. Finch? And that happens twice in the same scene. To put this into the most simple analogy my brain can come up with right now, the movie is like a bad fart, and I loved every whiff of it. If you're looking for a movie that feels like a porn parody of your favorite childhood character that doesn't take itself seriously and knows that it's bad, I think you'll actually enjoy watching this movie. That's my recommendation if you're thinking about watching it or not. It just gives off that charm of a movie that knows it's bad and plays into it very heavily, you know, taking from other cliches and making them even stinkier in their own movie. It's just, mwah, chef's kiss. It's really a class act of being a bad movie. But now this is where I'm going to get into spoiler territory. If you want to like plug your ears and go, blah, 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 or if you just want to click off and go wait till you watch the movie for yourself, this is your warning right here. So the plot of the movie revolves around Sydney, not Cindy. Just in case you're wondering, there's a discrepancy there. Also, the town's called Newville instead of Whoville. Like I said, the copyright stuff makes me laugh every time. But anyways, Sydney comes back to Newville, and it's been 20 years since her mother was killed by the Christmas killer, is what they call the mean one in this movie. And she's returning with her dad to go back to their old childhood home for the holidays. Why would they come back? I'm not too sure, but that's how every horror movie's set up. Characters are going somewhere they don't need to be for no reason whatsoever, just so they can get killed. But bada bing, bada boom, the Grinch also then kills her dad, and the Christmas killer is back. He's doing his killing tendencies again after 20 years of being dormant. And as it would happen in every single horror movie where there's a monster and a main character who's the only person that's seen him so far, nobody believes Sydney. They think she's crazy. They treat her like she's got some screws loose up in her noggin, like she can't think straight without crossing her eyes. They just treat her like she doesn't know what she's talking about. So this drives Sydney to the point where she goes out and takes a picture of the mean one, but it comes out so blurry that it looks like a picture of Bigfoot. I actually have a picture right here. I knew this would come in handy someday. This is exactly what the picture of the mean one that she took looks like, and she took a picture on a DSLR camera. It should have been pretty high quality. I don't know how it looks this bad. It looks like she took it on a flip phone, but regardless, she takes that picture, makes a flyer, and starts posting on every telephone pole around the city, telling people to look out for him. And the description of it says, "Big, furry, and green." And then puts a number to call if you see him. But by far the goofiest part of this movie is when Sydney does her training montage to prepare for the final boss fight with the mean one. She hangs up a punching bag and puts a Santa outfit on it because, you know, the Grinch wears a Santa outfit. She also puts like a green thing as its face. It's real silly looking. But she also, in that montage, she shoots a gun down range because anybody looks badass shooting a gun, don't they? And then she also dresses up like an MMA fighter, not to punch the punching bag, but to do push-ups in her garage with like red and green Christmas lights in the background. I can't do the montage justice by putting it into words. You just have to go see it for yourself. And now to talk about the thing I absolutely hated about this movie, really the only part that kind of put me off to it, was the big conspiracy plot they were trying to work into it, saying that like the sheriff and the mayor were in on it, trying to lure people into the mountains of the area so they could feed the Grinch. Like, it just doesn't really work. It just sounds real dumb. It doesn't really make sense. It had no purpose being there, really. It just comes off as crazy, like Charlie when he's trying to figure out who Pepe Sylvia is in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It doesn't work. And a lot of stuff in this movie doesn't work, but it doesn't work so much that it actually kind of works. You get what I'm saying? But this just doesn't work. You get it? You start to put the puzzle pieces together? But now to talk about the long-awaited ending of this movie. Sydney and the Grinch have their final showdown. They put their dukes up and go mano-y-mano, go why-I-oughta, and they wind it up and start fighting, and it's real epic and cool. It's like an anime fight scene. And then Sydney's on top of the Grinch, and she's got him. She's won the fight. And then she sees like a little medallion, something. I don't really remember. It's like an ornament from her childhood when the Grinch killed her mom. And she's like, "Oh, you kept it this entire time?" And he's like, "Mm-hmm." And I guess that makes them reconnect, and they become friends in that moment. And that makes the Grinch's heart grow 3 sizes that day, like it does in the Grinch story. And get this. His heart growing 3 sizes... that's not healthy, makes his heart explode out of his chest, killing him on the spot. I actually respect that so much because I always thought someone's heart growing 3 sizes couldn't be healthy and would have to kill him, and I love how they made it pop out of his chest. I give him big thumbs up, 2 thumbs up. I can't do 3 thumbs up or I would. Big kudos for that ending right there. I absolutely love that kill. That's actually the only kill that was good in this movie, so... good job. And that's pretty much it for the movie. The camera starts zooming out, giving you like a wide shot of Newville, and the narrator hops in like he has every so often in the movie, giving you some rhyme schemes, how they do in Dr. Seuss books and movies. Real silly like that. I enjoyed it. But as the narrator is giving the closing statement of the movie, he hints that there's going to be a second movie by saying something along the lines of, "That's all, until next Christmas." It obviously didn't sound that lame. He made it rhyme and sound real cool in his narration voice. I just don't have the talent for that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the mean one. I also forgot to mention Max isn't in this movie, the Grinch's dog. I really wish they would have done something there. Feels like a missed opportunity, but regardless, the movie's fun. I had fun watching it. I didn't think it was good, but it was a fun time. I think you won't regret it either. English is kind of hard. You're a grown human probably, unless you're a fetus, then why are you watching this video? You know, make your own choice. Watch the movie if you want. Don't watch it if you don't want to, and I'll catch you in the next one.